Hi, everybody. It is midterm week in astronomy. We are at week 8, and this is fun for a lot of reasons. We get to talk about Pluto. I love Pluto, poor little Pluto, and the history of it being a planet and then it being not a planet. We're going to talk about all of that. Then we get to talk about meteors, comets, and asteroids. Cool things that fly by our planet every once in a while, impact our planet, potentially dangerous and potentially species extinction event kind of things that could be very tragic for humanity. So we're going to talk about what are they, when have they have hit Earth in the past, when have they hit Earth recently, and some of the things that are being done to help predict when they're going to occur in the future. So let's take a look at Canvas and see what's coming up this week. So we're going to talk about our dear friend Pluto and go into why it was changed to a dwarf planet. We have a study guide this week, and that is the only homework that is going to be turned in. There is no lab. If you go down the list, there is no lab this week. And the reason is because we have our midterm exam, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. Then we're going to talk about comets, asteroids, and meteors. Now, prior to that midterm exam, I have something that includes a midterm review. Now, the midterm review, when you go there, I have prepared for you a midterm review and then the answers. Now, the midterm review and the answers, here's what they are. They are not a guarantee that every question that is going to be on the exam is going to be covered here. But I'm a person who wrote the exam, and I just sat down on my computer and I wrote a whole bunch of questions to get your brain warmed up, to go back over some of the stuff that we haven't talked about since maybe week 1. And I would use this as one of two things, either to warm your brain up as a hint of things you could study, or study and then use this as a pretest to see if you are on the right direction or doing the right things. Then I've also included the key. And so you can test yourself and see if you remember some of these things. This is not a graded assignment. You are not going to turn this in, but both of these are available for you to use as a review. Students, when they come to a big exam, often get a little nervous, and so here you can click on a video that shows you how to use the what if calculator in Canvas. Now let's talk about this midterm exam. The midterm is going to be 75 questions, multiple choice. It is sort of like a quiz on steroids. The 75 questions, you're going to have 1 hour to complete the questions. How many of what kind? Well, out of that 75, probably 8 or 9 over every single chapter that we have done. So that includes 8 or 9 constellations, and we're only going to talk about the constellations that we have gone through up to and including this week. I don't think we have any new constellations this week. So all of the constellations up to this point, any of them are fair game. Plus 8 or 9 questions over chapter 1, or 8 or 9 questions over chapter 2, and I hope you get how this is going to go. I reserve the right to have a few more questions over this chapter, which is Pluto, meteors, asteroids, and comets. But I tried to write them in clusters, so they're kind of together. Managing your time is going to be a big deal. So here's what I suggest you do. First off, study. Don't try and take the test and then in the middle of the test, then go, oh my gosh, I don't know the answer, and then start searching. How do you study for the exam? I would read through your notes. Hopefully you've been taking notes as you're watching the videos. And if you've got those PowerPoints that you've printed, every time through a PowerPoint, if I said this was important or this is going to be on the quizzes, and you put a star by it or circled it or something, go back and read those important things. Definitions, important place names. Those are all going to be important questions that I'm going to ask you on the midterm. Will you see some quiz questions? Possibly again, possibly. But every quiz, I've got a big body of questions, maybe 30 questions, and then you get asked 10. So you may or may not see any of your quiz questions again. except maybe constellations. So I would read back over your notes and read them carefully. Don't read every word in great depth, not unless you've got that kind of time. And then quiz yourself and say, okay, like Olympus Mons. Olympic Mons is the tallest mountain in the solar system. And try and see if you remember some of these things. Then I would take that practice quiz. And then when you're ready, have all of your notes and everything around you. Go through the test and answer everything you're certain about. And then the questions you're not certain about, then you take the time and look up those answers. Because if you try and look up every answer to every question, you will not have time. And that is why there is a time limit on the test. This is a test if you have learned things, not your ability to use Google. So that's what this is all about. So best of luck on it. I'm sure you'll do a great job. And remember, the whole semester is the total points you've earned over the total points possible. You don't have a lab this week, so spend that extra time studying for this exam. Have a good one. I know you'll do great. Bye-bye.